everybody? How you doing? It's DJ Gatsby, host of the talk show with DJ Gatsby and Kitty Jones. Thanks for watching the previous shows that we had. You know, we had a lot of people coming through. Today we got a very, very special guest in the house, and my man.
I do.
All of y'all know him, Cash Money content publishing author, author of Keisha and Clyde, Street Girl Named Desire.
Yes, sir.
Harlem Girl Lost One, Get It Girls.
Yes, sir. We got it.
And Fly Betty, of course. Everybody will know Fly Betty. You also did a couple of other books. What is it?
Little Bad Girls.
Little
1
Bad
and
Girls.
2.
1 and 2. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome to my studio on my show, good personal friend of mine and great author, Mr. Treasure Blue.
Thank you, brother.
How you doing? I got to give me some
Man,
more
thank
dap.
you, man. Yes, sir. You get all you want, man.
All right. Listen, thanks for being so patient with me today. We went through a lot to get this show together, man. I appreciate you coming by my house.
Yes, sir.
With your driver to pick me up.
Yes, sir.
Black car service came
Yes,
and got
sir.
me.
Yes, sir.
And brought me out, man. You know, listen, man, talk to the people, man. What's happening with you right now, man? How's your day going, man?
Man, I'm in grind mode, man. I've been up since 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, had to get to that airport, get down here to D.C., you know, no late for me. You know, I'm going to be on time, you know, because I'm about this right here. You know, it's sink or swim for me right now. This is my moment of truth right now, so I'm going to be on point.
Okay.
I came down to D.C. just to smash and show love, you know, give my release party.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know.
For those that we'll get into that in a minute, but he has a release party. It's going to be held, I think it was, February 15th.
Yes, sir. Friday.
Right here in D.C.
Yes,
It's
sir.
hosted by DC Book Diva and her team down here. Big shout out to DC Book Diva for
D.C. Book Diva.
actually playing her part. She was very instrumental in getting Treasure Blue here to the studio, arranging for the interview. And Tias, thank you so much for that, man.
Eon Williams, real is back.
Yeah. Big shout out to Eon, RG Champ, and everybody over there at DC
Yes, sir.
Book Diva Publications.
Mikey O.
Yeah. We're going to start from the beginning, man. Your first book, what was the first book that you published?
The first book that I published was Harlem Girl Lost. That was back in 2004.
Okay, Harlem Girl Lost,
Yeah.
the first book.
Yeah, very first book. I self-published that book. It was phenomenal. It took off. It took wings of its own, and wow, you know, I just think back to those gloriously years. I never expected that it would become so popular, you know.
Yeah, you have a lot of fans following that Harlem Girl Lost series, and all started off with that first book, man. And how did it feel, man, you know, to be a published author? You know, just to...
Man, just to write the book was like having my firstborn, or like having your firstborn child, you know. It meant that much, at least for me. You know, I came in for the love of this. I came in for the passion. Money was a non-factor. I didn't know about money. All I cared about was putting that book in as many readers' hands as possible, because I knew in my heart and my soul that, you know, it was something special.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, now you, from Harlem, New York. Everybody knows Treasure Blue is from Harlem.
Yes,
so
sir.
obviously you were in Harlem when you published that book.
Yes.
Now you hit the streets, New York City, selling that book.
Running.
Okay.
You know, even before the book was out, you see, I got that hustler mentality. You know, I just didn't wait until I got book in hand, man.
Okay.
I was selling my book months before it was even written, months before it was even printed. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know, I had to put that. It was all I had. I had that sink or swim mentality. You know.
Okay.
Either I'm gonna do it or I'm not. You know.
Yeah.
And so I just went all out. I just focused on one thing. You know.
Getting that.
It was like a laser. Just my book, Harlem Girl Lost.
Okay. We're going to talk about a lot today, man. Cover as
Come
much
on,
ground
hit
as we
me, man.
possibly can. The second book, we're not going to go to a lot of, behind the scenes stuff, but your second book that you published, what was that title and how did that come about?
Well, before I got to the second title, I got signed. You know,
Okay.
because I got signed by Random House because, you know, the thing was hitting the Essence bestseller list every month from that point on, you know. And they drew the attention of all the majors, you know. I got actually, before I had a book, I knew who was my agent going to be, and wound up being my Agent Tracy Sherrod. I mean, I wasn't playing with this.
Okay.
So about maybe going on 2 years later, after this book just was a instant phenomena, that's when the majors started calling. So I got my agent, and they basically had a bidding war against for my services,
For your second book.
for my next books to come.
Okay, so when you got that deal, you had already had Harlem Girl Lost out.
Yes.
That's its bestseller list.
Yes.
And now the majors start calling.
Yes.
You get your agent, you get ready to move. Now,
Yes.
what were they expecting from you? I mean, other than the number of books, what were they expecting? Because you're a new author, one book out. What are they expecting? You're not established. You new kid on the block still.
Well, just like anything in business, it's a gamble, but you just got to go with a safe bet. My books were being book scanned. When I first heard my book scan numbers, I think they said something like, "Yeah, we found out your book scan numbers was like 16,000."
Wow.
I got offended. Because I was doing 20,000 print runs by now. So he said, no, don't. It's not about that. If it's got book scanned in the store, just imagine what you was doing on the streets. So, it made sense.
So when you say book scans, for those who don't know, that means when it's sold in a store by a retailer.
By a retailer who is an authorized book scanner.
Okay. So street vendors,
They don't count.
bookstore sales,
They don't count.
book signing sales.
Black bookstore, mom and pop bookstores,
Yeah.
a lot of places didn't count. Even Walmart at the time didn't.
Okay.
Walmart just got book scanned, so so it was a whole lot of books that wasn't getting reported, but you could tell by the consensus, by the bestsellers list, by the Amazon rankings and things like that. So they pretty much can gauge what you're doing, where you at. So I was in a good comfort zone.
Yeah. So for all you authors out there that don't have your books with major retailers or not getting those book scans, you need to try to do that. You need to try to get those books because you can get those numbers up.
Well, it's a duality to that. Most authors cannot get it in those chain stores, so that's the disadvantage for a new author. Trying to get it in, distribution.
Yeah.
Just like in the record industry, same thing.
Yeah. Okay. So now they come calling, and you sign with Random House.
Well, Random's House won.
Random House wins. Okay. Random House wins.
They win, and they offer me a lucrative deal. I mean, I shiver still when I think about that. And I felt prideful about that because, I'm wanted. I came from obscurity, from nothing.
Yeah.
And here I am receiving all these accolades about this one book. It was, I could have retired right then, with a great name,
Well, we're glad you didn't. We're glad you didn't. We're glad you kept going. All right, now Random House, which books did you release under Random House through that deal?
Okay, they bought the rights to Harlem Girl Laws. That was part of the deal. Then my second book was A Street Girl Named Desire.
Okay.
That's his bestseller.
Yeah, hold on for you. The Street Girl Named Desire. Didn't read that book. I haven't seen a lot of reviews on that book.
Man,
Tell me a little bit about that, man.
That book will snatch your soul. It would hit every emotional fiber in your body. To me personally, after all these books, if anybody ever asked me, which book, because I'm an artistic type of thinker, which book would you want to go to film first? I always say A Street Girl Named Desire.
Okay.
Because it deals with a lot of emotion. It's like a triple threat. It's very dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
It got a lot of entertainment in it.
Okay.
And a lot of morals and visuals, And I'm a visual person, and I could see it. And a lot of people say the same thing, that was a character that I took to the left because I'll write a book with the heroine is liked and loved by everybody. You cannot help but desire the main character. You couldn't help but hate her. But I forced you to like her.
Okay.
Not force you, but fall in love with
You
her.
made her likable to the likable character in spite of what you
became
did.
human. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's hard to do.
Okay. Well,
I wanted to challenge myself.
I know you have a lot of talents, man. People talk a lot about the characters. You have very strong characters in your books.
Yes.
And the story plots are very intricate.
Absolutely. That's a good word. I'm glad you caught that.
Well, I mean, I read a little bit too.
Yes, sir.
I read a little bit too. All right, now that's the first book, Random House. What's the second book that?
Street Girl Named Desire.
Okay.
And the third book was Keisha and Clyde.
Heard a lot about that book. Didn't read it. Well, you know, I just really got into.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
Recently.
Hey, you know, you can look forward to some great books when you need it.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to have to read some of your previous releases,
Yes.
man, trying to see how you got where you are today in your writing.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you Keisha Clyde, Street Girl Named Desire, and then where you at? You still with Random House on your fourth book or not?
No. By the completion of my contract,
Okay.
I basically turned down the next deal.
Okay. Now I've heard you talk about that in previous interviews about going from self-published to having a deal to being without a publisher.
Yes.
And that was a personal decision that you made.
Yes.
Okay. What were the factors that led to you making that decision? Because I got a lot. I can imagine a lot of people that's saying, "Wow, how could you walk away from or let a deal with a major publisher like that get away?"
Yeah.
What was the thought process when you decided to do that?
Well, you know, considering the fact that I was hustling on the streets since I was 7 years old,
Okay.
not necessarily illegally, but, you know, my father taught me the game, the hustle. You know, he was a street vendor. He taught me the art of a sale, the art of people. Okay. And, you know, I became addicted to it once I started making sales. You know, once I can convince a person to buy my goods, you know. I'm that 10-year-old boy that went up into Harlem Hospital, 2 shopping bag full of hats, socks, leg warmers, stockings, handkerchief, anything.
Okay. All right.
Go up to the top floor, sell to doctors, nurses, patients.
Okay. Well, I see you touching on that. For y'all that don't know, he is a hustler. You was a hustler. You still a hustler, and it's legitimate.
Yes.
Hustle. It's a grind.
Yes,
Because a lot of people
grind.
get that misconstrued. But you had a talent, you had a skill, and you wanted to live off that.
Yeah, it was just a natural progression.
Okay, so you had something that you know you could sell,
Yes.
which was your books. Now, so you, after the Random House deal, you go back to self-publishing?
Yeah, I went back to self-publishing because the reason that I didn't want to sign the contract again with Random House is because they treated me too well. They pampered me. You know, I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to. All of my job now was treasure, sit back, write the best quality books you can give us.
So you, I didn't mean to cut you off. So you missed the hustle. You missed the streets.
I missed
you missed
the hustle.
grind. You missed doing what you love doing.
Yes,
basically.
absolutely. You got to understand, you're talking to a person that in self-publishing, and you ebook heroes, listen up. Back in those days, authors went out of town every single weekend and got to hustle.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures of you and a lot of the New York authors. I can't name too many of them, but Quan, some East Coast, Wahida Clark. I've seen some of the pictures from 2011, 10, 9, where you guys
No, we
actually
talking
did a lot.
2006 and
Well,
2007. You know, 2005. You know what I mean? 2004. You know what I mean? 2003. We talking about those days. See, when it wasn't as popular.
Okay.
You see, you got to understand, it was almost being an urban fiction author back then was a crime. You know what I mean? We was bastardized. We was demonized.
Okay, you guys were outside the
You know
box.
what I mean? So we had to break these doors down and keep giving them. Sure, authors had horrible covers.
Okay.
Sure, the content was atrocious.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But we got better and better. Yeah. And so stopping the naysayers.
Yeah.
So it got to the point that we became accepted. See, a lot of new authors don't realize that history. We got told in our face we was an ish.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that about learning a little history about African American literature and urban literature itself, is that you said 10, 20 years ago, there were only a handful of writers who actually had book deals from major publishers.
Yeah.
And underground, I call it underground writers back then, is basically where you were.
Right.
You didn't have major distribution, didn't have major deals, but for the love of writing,
Right.
it seems like a lot of authors kind of made that transition.
Yeah.
You know, from being street hustlers and street vendors and selling their books wherever they could to major deals with publishers, or the internet comes in and a lot of other ways to help you sell books. Now, do you think current authors kind of respect the game or respect the hustle or the path that, you know, veterans like yourself and a lot of other authors out there, Heath Clark and a lot to remember, you know, who had the hard times back in the day? A lot of writers seem like they have it very easy today.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that, you know, they don't have respect or anything. It's just that they don't know.
Okay.
You know, they just fell into something, you know, they had the passion for words. Well, most of them. Okay. And they just want their voice to be heard. I respect that. Okay. I help people like that. But then again, you got the authors that come in and get a taste of blood, get a taste of that little bit of money.
Okay.
And then math doesn't lie. If I put up one book online, what if I put 2 books? What if I put 3 books? And that's when it become, you know, watered down. That's when you develop what I call writer's cancer.
In other words, you explain that writer's cancer, because I got a little idea what I think you mean, but what does that mean? And y'all listen to this now. He's about to drop a jewel for y'all, right?
Writer's cancer is when an author start writing books just to push them out, just to make money.
Okay.
Once you start writing books for the money, you develop a writer's cancer, and it's over. Yeah. It's over for you. You can make all the paper in the world, but you're not going to have a legacy. Yeah,
I think you're making a good point there, because a lot of the authors, well-established authors who've been around, they don't drop books like that.
No way.
They don't, and then you got some authors, don't get me wrong, who do drop a lot of books.
Right.
And they're still very good authors and drop a very good product. But I've seen that, particularly with the advent of ebooks, that and short stories now, because I've seen people say, I got a book release, I got a book coming out, and it's a short story, it's a short ebook. It's not it's not a full length. Look at the thickness of this book. It's not a book. It's not a novel. All right, we don't want to get off topic, because I really want people to talk about all your books. All right, so you left Random House.
Right.
You back self-publishing. What was that first book that you dropped when you started self-publishing again?
Harlem Girl Lost 2. Because that was in, like, everywhere I went, lectures, tours, the streets, everywhere. Harlem, when you want to come up with Harlem Girl Lost 2? Harlem Girl Lost 2. Harlem Girl Lost 2. I heard it so much, I told everyone, I think, you know, I wove that story so perfectly, it's finality. It's nothing more I can write about.
So wait a minute. You were reluctant to write Harlem Girl Lost 2?
I wasn't going to touch it. It was good enough. It was perfect ending to me.
You're making a good point. I spoke to a couple of authors. Monica Mathis Stowe, for one. She wrote Where Did We Go Wrong?
Right.
When she wrote that book, she said she wanted to end it right there. But editors, fans, test readers told her no.
Won't let it die.
You have to come back with part 2, which she did do. Congrats to Monica. She just released her second book, Where Did We Go Again? Right. Where Did We Go Wrong Again? All right, so now you self-publish it again. People are asking for a sequel to Harlem Girl Lost. Right. So you write Harlem Girl Lost 2.
No, I didn't. I had an epiphany. It wasn't even an epiphany. It was, I'm not sure what city I was in, Philadelphia or New York or I don't know where I was. But same old question, but I was doing it for a classroom full of kids.
Okay.
And Harlem Girl Lost, everybody, I mean, that book was a phenomenal, you know. So, like, once again, a young girl stood up. Is there going to be a part 2 to Harlem Girl Lost 2? It's so redundant. I said, no, you know what I'm saying, my spiel, no. And then she asked another question. She said, okay, can I ask you another question? I said, sure, shoot. What would have happened to Silver's mother, Jessica, if she didn't get tricked using drugs and got pregnant.
Okay, so now,
I was at loss for words.
well, now you have to put yourself back in the book now, because you know what would have happened if you continued the story.
didn't.
What I mean, if you continue the story, you have to
If
bring
I
that
had
character
to sit
back
down
up.
and formulate it, you see what I'm saying?
Well, you're right,
I got to
yeah.
kick it around. You know, you got to kick it around. So how can I do that? So therefore, I decided, I talked to Quan, and then
Quan,
I
I
told
Am
him,
Legend, big shout out to Quan, though.
Yeah.
Animal's a great book, man.
Yeah.
One of your mates over there, Cash Money,
Yes, sir.
Quan. What's up, Quan?
and I said, listen, man, I'm thinking about writing a story about my main character, Silva, mother, Jessica, and her crew when they was younger.
Okay.
And so he said, man, that would be considered something like a prequel. And I said, And then I talked to other people, but when I wrote it, it's more like a what if, just like the young girl advised me.
Yeah.
What if, so it would consider like a prequel, alternate reality type of book. A standalone book, nothing to do with the plot,
Yeah.
Two Harlem Girl Laws, but the setting, the characters, and telling that story.
Okay.
And that turned out to be Harlem Girl Laws 2, hence
The beginning.
the beginning, hence being turned into Get It Girls,
Yeah.
Cash Money.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up Cash Money, because I wanted to get to that whole part of your career. For those who don't know, he's signed to Cash Money Content Publishing, and you released Get It Girls, which was the first book.
No, I released Harlem Girl Laws 2, and that was doing phenomenal.
Oh yeah, well that's what I met you was with Harlem Girl Laws too.
Right.
Met you at
I
Cafe
was back on my
Cartel.
hustle out here in Maryland, D.C.
Yeah, I remember that day, man. As I was telling your driver, who's sitting off set there, heard you were coming to town. Knew you from New York, Harlem. Came up with my I Love Harlem.
Yes, sir.
T-shirt on, representing DJ Gatsby's book club.
Brighten up that whole day, that whole store. I remember that, day one.
Envy Red was there.
Yep, Tracy B was there.
Yeah, I didn't get to meet Tracy.
Yeah.
And I think I met Tracy before that at the DMV Literary Expo.
Yeah.
Big shout out to everybody who I met at the DMV Literary Expo back in 2011. That was really the start of the book club and got me going, but that's a whole other story.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I meet you at the bookstore. Showed me a lot of love, man.
Yes, sir.
I told you who I was. I had a book club, and I'm a real fan of African American lit, and I want to be a part of this phenomenon that's taking place. And well, take us back there, man. You were there doing the book. This was before the Cash Money deal, because
Right.
you're on your grind. You're back traveling state to state, hitting the bookstore, seeing people.
Yeah, I think I came down to stay in D.C. See, D.C. is my second home when it comes to the book business.
Yeah.
When I came down here, I was amazed how much love they had down here. You don't get the type of book love anywhere else.
Okay.
You know what I mean? DMV area,
Yeah.
second to none support. New York is not like that. They want that
New York.
dollar. I found out that you can get normal $15 for your book. We're up in New York, $10.
Big shout out to New York, though.
Begrudgingly, you know what I mean?
This and that,
$2 off, I'm sure.
Big city of dreams, man.
But down
There's a lot
here,
of competition.
the sisters and brothers be like, yo, here you go, I'm here to support. Rock out.
Yeah. That, you know what? I showed a lot of love. I got a lot of love here, too, for D.C., big up to D.C. and New York. I started my book club down here, which was a huge move for me. Starting the book club because everybody knew me from New York as a DJ, a promoter, and MC and all this other stuff, which you guys are yet to hear about. A lot of you. Big shout out to my people in New York who know I'm coming back up there to do some things. We'll do some things down here in D.C. also. But I was a new kid on the block with a love for literature, and I started my book club, and I got nothing but love, respect, and cooperation from a lot of people down here in D.C., Maryland, Virginia.
Yeah.
I think if I started my book club anywhere else, it probably wouldn't have turned out the way it did.
You wouldn't have jumped off. But it's how you carry yourself, too. I immediately was drawn to you.
Yeah.
See, you got that same, ability in you to show love. You know what I'm saying? In order for
Yeah.
you to receive love, you must first show it. And you showed
I
it.
give respect where it's
And
due,
we
man.
was down ever since.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
And I got with you,
Yeah.
and you did things for me to take me to a level, you know what I'm saying, with this Cash Money situation. We ain't gonna tell y'all the secrets, but
We don't get into- we ain't get to that yet.
Believe me, brother got some secrets, you know?
Yeah. But meeting you that day kind of changed my whole attitude about African American authors because I hadn't really met very many.
Right.
And the ones that I did meet, you know, all they wanted to talk about was books. When I met you, you talked about the business.
The business.
You talked about the love. And you talked about how, you know, brothers and sisters can actually make a living, you know, doing things other than just writing books.
Yes, sir.
And we'll get into that, hopefully. That's a whole nother show. But there's a lot of other things that people can do in this industry other than writing. I mean, you got proofreaders, you got editors, you got people who do designs, and you got people,
yep.
you know, advertising, marketing,
Yep,
promoters.
marketing, promoting
a
is
lot
huge.
going on with the book business, and man, a lot of people are eating
Yes, sir.
off this game. All right, so you back on the road. Well, I'm going lost too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, take us to Cash Money content, man, how that all started.
Well,
I see you put a smile on your face soon as I say Cash Money and YMCB.
nah, you know,
you start talking
what
about
it was, you know, see, now since I came back into the actual self-publishing business, we talking about it's 2010 now.
Yeah, that's right, 2010.
And the game that I knew had changed drastically.
Okay, I can imagine that.
It was this little old thing came to the equation called ebooks.
Ebooks, Kindles, Nook,
I mean,
electronic publishing.
I heard about it.
Okay.
I was told about it. But I wasn't that abreast about
Okay.
it.
So was Harlem Girl Lost on ebook, Kindle, Nook, and
Yeah, but I had to come to believe that. You see, I came back into the game, printed up 5,000 copies. Man, 5,000 copies back in the day, I would seriously knock that out in a month time.
Okay.
But I ordered these 5,000 books, and the day my book, Harlem Girl Lost 2, came out, and I went on a hustle, lo and behold, the very vendors, booksellers, and distributors that were still in the game,
Yeah.
who once brought 10 cases from me,
Okay. Now they
was
changed up.
now buying 10 books from me.
Okay.
This was weird. This is something that I never experienced.
Yeah, that's that kind of led to the demise of a lot of
Absolutely.
bookstores, mom and pop
Bookstores,
bookstores.
vendors, everybody felt it. But a hustler do what a hustler got to do.
Well, you got to change your game up.
I switched my game up. Okay.
Yeah.
Ebooks, that's what it is. Ebook it is. So I just took my street hustle, found out about this Facebook, found out about the ebook, found out about that,
you
and I
online
just flipped the
hustle.
script.
You hustling online
That's
now.
it. And so by the time my book came out and I got into it
Yeah.
and saw and recognized what was up, that's when I started putting on the Treasure Blue-esque hustle.